Yeah, it's your boy Ghost Dog,
And Miss Hangover.
and we are your hosts for the Fantasy Foreplay. His pick
Her flex.
here at the Aboriginal Sports Network. However, before we get into our top 10 wide receivers for your fantasy football needs, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to Fantasy Foreplay, the start of the show. Where your draft begins and your knowledge will grow. His picks and her flex, we got you back for show. From quarterback to sequel, that's where we explode. All love, no lust, we the ones you can trust. Lock in your options, you know it's a must. With this week's fantasy, we'll help you adjust. Boom, up a bus, let's get ready to rush. Draft the right, don't miss the call. In the game, we got it all. I hope you enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Man, babe, those Key and P production dudes, they do some good work, don't you think?
Facts.
For sure. So as I said earlier, top 10 wide receivers for your fantasy football needs. Just pay close attention. You might need a pen or a notepad. No, a real talk, because we definitely went through our due diligence here, as you see on the board. Couple variables, some major key differences. But we're going to start it off right away with the similarities with our top pick. And I'm a gentleman here, so babe, ladies first. Take it away.
Alrighty. Our number one wide receiver goes to Jamar Chase. This man balled out for 403 fantasy points last year. He is projected to do 352.7. He's got Joe Burrow over there. He was one of the quarterbacks that we spoke about on last week's video. That man balls out. So by default, Jamar Chase is going to ball out. They got a strong connection. He's a vital part of the Bengals' offensive success. I feel like he's going to do wonders over there yet again. What do you think, babe?
Absolutely, man. I had him last year for two of my fantasies. This man single-handedly, no nonsense. It was between him and Derrick Henry. They literally carried me to the playoffs. Even though it was a one and done, I was scrambling for other running backs. We ain't going to get into all that. However, Jamar Chase, number one, easily makes this list as the number one spot. Last year, he went off. I expect nothing less. Expect Joe Burrow and the Bengals to play a lot of catch-up games, and that just equals out to more points for Jamar Chase to put up. That's really as simple as it gets. Simple mathematics.
I agree.
All right.
And
yeah,
he was part of the reason I didn't win last year. So
oh yeah, I remember
I
you
will
had that
definitely
whole
be
fiasco.
looking to draft him this year.
Yeah, you had that fiasco.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into the crazy with the trades going on with Jamar Chase.
We're not gonna get into it because it was madness. Yo, I was telling her to call the proper authorities, Aboriginal Sports Faithful. No lie. It was just highway robbery going on. But like she said, we're not going to get into it. But we will get into his number two spot. So, babe, take it away with your number two.
All right. So already very quickly, our choices are going to differ. My number two is going to be Ladd McConkey. Last year, he went off for 240 fantasy points. This year, he is projected to do more at 262. He has got Justin Herbert over there again, and yet another quarterback that we spoke about in last week's video. Y'all should go watch that. He's a pretty standout, first season earning. He earned a lot of recognition as a top 100 NFL player list last year. He set a record for a rookie for receiving yards and catches. Why not pick him as your number 2? If you're gonna go, for somebody on the new end, hopefully the fact that he's young and talented means that he'll stay healthy for you for the season. With that being said, baby, who is your number 2?
My number 2 is Mr. Justin Jefferson, aka JJ. He got busy last year. I expect him to do the same this year. It's just something about these LSU receivers, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. They are guaranteed. That's just what that is. They are guaranteed to put up numbers, to perform, to shine. I expect Justin Jefferson to do the same thing. He will be J.J. McCarthy's safety blanket. We're talking about a veteran receiver. I understand he's got to share some targets with, Jordan Addison, possibly the tight end over there. His name is escaping me at the moment. However, again, expect J.J. McCarthy to absolutely rely on Justin Jefferson to bail him out, to be that release valve, if you will. And that's just going to equate to more numbers. He put up 317 up last year overall. He's going to do similar, if not more. So pay attention. Justin Jefferson is absolutely worthy of the number 2 spot for my list. So, babe, take it away from the number 3.
All right. My number 3 is going to be CeeDee Lamb. He went off last year for 263 fantasy points. He's projected to do 315, even more this year. He is, in fact, injured right now, but he is on the path to recovery. So as long as he, is going to be hitting up this season, you should see him do similar numbers to last year. He had 1,194 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. He will share some touches with George Pickens, but Pickens ain't really doing numbers like he used to. He only went off for like 164. He's projected to do more, like 220. But I still think CeeDee Lamb will be a top priority in your draft picks. With that being said, baby, who is your número 3?
Drake. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Drake London out of the Atlanta Falcons. He has emerged as the number 1 talent over there. Put up 280 points overall last year. Expect more. Michael Penix Jr. will absolutely take the helm over there, and he will be looking for that number 1 target to be the assistance to him. Absolutely. 16.5 last year average a game. Again, just expect numbers to come out from this young man, especially with Michael Penix feeding him the ball. So keep an eye out for Drake London. Drake! So number 4, babe, take it away.
All right, my number 4 is going to be the man Justin Jefferson. You kind of already touched on him. He's got a new quarterback over there. Well, new to me for the most part. J.J. McCarthy. He went off for 1,533 receiving yards last year with 10 touchdowns. He's the only player in the franchise history with 3 seasons of over 1,500 plus receiving yards and 100 plus receptions. He will share touches with Jordan Addison, but Addison wasn't doing shit last year. I don't think he's really going to do shit this year. We'll see. He did do 212.5 last year. He's only projected to do like 189 this year. Jordan Addison will give you consistent WR2, WR3 numbers. So I feel like Justin Jefferson is a safe bet. Um, who is your number 4, babe?
Absolutely a safe bet. So much of a safe bet, he made my number 2. However, right now we're talking about our number 4s. And my number 4 is another safe bet, and an Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. This man balls out. 316 points overall last year for the entire football fantasy season. Over 1,200 yards receiving, over 100 receptions, 18.6 points, fantasy points average per game. Nothing's going to change for me. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be that dude over there. He's going to be Jared Goff's favorite target. It's just a recipe for success over there, and it's going to continue on for this year as well. So absolutely, Amon-Ra St. Brown is an absolute safe bet for your number 1 receiver for your 2025 fantasy football needs. And number 5, babe, take it away.
So my number 5 is going to be your number 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's got Jared Goff over there. Again, yet another quarterback that we spoke about from last week's video. He's going to be sharing touches with Jameson Williams, but, still, I think he will get the lion's share, with those receiving yards and 12
I see what you did there.
touchdowns. I don't think he can go. I will be looking to draft him come the season. He will be a top pick for me. Who is your number 5, my love?
Oh, here's where my bias starts showing itself. And you know what? I don't care. I just don't give a damn. I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. Because as I said, them LSU boys, oh man. And now he has a Russell Wilson to throw him the ball. Pay attention. Number 5, Malik Neighbors. He put up 273 points last year with like 10 different quarterbacks. So now that he has a seasoned veteran and a Russell Wilson to properly feed him the ball, listen, I might be putting him a little low on this list. However, for objective sake, for objective, thought process, last year was his rookie year. We got to see it, is what I'm saying. Players like a Jamar Chase, like a Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, they've already kind of got their stripes up a little bit. Malik has to do the same. Even so, Leak is absolutely worthy of a top 5 consideration for anybody's fantasy football league. Point blank, period. And I put my Giants fandom on that.
I agree with you, babe. I agree with you there. I had Malik last year. He put up some numbers for me. It was kind of a letdown to see how much he got let down by his quarterback, Daniel Jones, at the time. But I really hope that, this new quarterback is going to be an opportunity for him to really go off for you.
Oh, yeah. I have
with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and head into number 6. So with that being said, I'm going to head into number 6. My number 6 is going to be Courtland Sutton. And I know, you're probably wondering what the F. But I try to have other options out there for you guys that, because not everyone can get a Jamar Chase. Not everyone can get a, Justin Jefferson. I'm trying to give you other people out there that are going to be consistent and still perform for you, and will still be out there because not everybody is going to pick them as their number 1s. He's got Bo Nix over there, another quarterback we talked about. He's only got to share his touches really with, Marvin Mims Jr. and Devon Vele, and they both didn't even hit 130 fantasy points last year. And they're not even projected to hit really much. I think Marvin Mims is projected to hit 149.5, Vele 37.5. Cortland just signed a 4-year extension with the Broncos. And he has talked about how he wants to add to his legacy. He's got a strong connection with Bo Nix. Last year, I had the Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Wombo combo, and they put up numbers for me. They saved my ass after I threw, stupidly, Josh Allen to the waiver wires. Cortland put up 240.3 fantasy points this last year, right? I was loving it. He's projected to do 228.1. I think he will do more, especially with, Bo Nix getting a little bit more seasoning under his belt. I feel like he will do wonders. With that being said, baby, who is your number 6?
My number 6 is CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver of the Dallas Cowboys. Again, I get it. Has to share targets with George Pickens. To me, that just equals out to more targets and more opportunities to see this man shine. Put up 263 fantasy points overall last year, which averages out to 17.6 a game. Lots of yards, lots of receptions, 6 touchdowns. Expect the touchdowns to go up. As I said, he's that dude over there. He has a connection with Dak Prescott. George Pickens, again, I just don't see him doing as much, and it's just going to equal more opportunity for CeeDee Lamb. And that's my number 6. So, babe, take it away for your number 7.
All right. My number 7, yet again, giving you your options. This hangover will bring you the options. Number 7 is going to Zay Flowers. Quarterback Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a beast. He is going to be sharing touches with Derrick Henry, and I know, but hear me out. He still put up 209.5 overall fantasy points last year, and that's with Derrick Henry up in there. This year, even with him, he is projected to do 232. Last year, he got over 1,000 yards, 1,059, 4 touchdowns in 17 games. I think he would be a good person for you to consider. Again, consistency. I love consistency. I want that consistency throughout the season for fantasy. Hope you do too. Who is your number 7, babe?
My number 7, again, you can see where the bias is as a Giants fan. However, like you said, babe, consistency. And if there's any receiver who's been real consistent for his team these past few years, it has been the man down there in Philly, A.J. Brown. Now, he didn't put up a lot of numbers last year in comparison to some of his peers. I get that. However, when it is time for Jalen Hurts to make a play and somebody to make the play downfield, it is this man right here. 216 points overall for the season, 16.7 per game average, 7 touchdowns, just over 1,000 yards receiving. I expect nothing else to change. I get it. Saquon is the man down there. They are a run-first team. However, when they face against top-tier defenses that can stop number 26, expect the slack to be picked up by number 11. So that's my number 7. take it away, babe, for number 8.
Sounds good. And I just gotta say, babe, you're looking real good tonight.
Same, babe. Same. Appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. Now that I got distracted by your handsome face, my number 8 is Jackson Smith Nickjigba. My hometown, Seattle, my favorite team, Seahawks. They got the new quarterback, Sam Darnold, over there. He's been making noise at camp. That being said, Jackson Smith has no DK, no sharing with Lockett. He is going to be a go-to guy, hands down, 100%. Last year, he did have DK around. He still balled out for 1,130 yards, 6 touchdowns, 253 fantasy points. He is projected to do 243. I 100% think that he will do more. He has no competition on that field for touches. None whatsoever. He is going to be the go-to guy. I can't say more enough. Draft him ASAP. ASAP. Who is your number 8, baby?
Oh yeah, Jackson Smith, my guy. He is definitely he was rattling around in my brain for a little bit. However, my number 8 spot, Scary Terry McLaurin. Now I get it. Everybody's like, "Oh, but Ghost Dog, your biases are showing." I don't care. We don't even know where he's gonna be at. Is he gonna get paid? Did he get his money yet? And despite all this,
give that man his money.
Absolutely. Pay that man. Washington Commanders, shame on you. However, 267 points for the year, fantasy-wise. But again, who was feeding him the ball? JD5. So, of course, Scary Terry is the main dude over there. Now, if he gets his money, expect nothing to change. Do they have a Deebo Samuel? Yes. They have a Zach Ertz? Of course. However, Scary Terry is that guy over there. He's been that guy for a little bit now. And when he finally gets to his money, he will be the guy going forward. So absolutely, Scary Terry is worthy of consideration for like a late first round or maybe an early second round pick if you're in a wide receiver needed position. Like you said, babe, choices. I got some 2 over here on my list. We here. Yeah.
I agree. I think he would be a good pick as well. I really hope that they pay him his money. It's well deserved. And they would be stupid to let that man go. That being said, I'm going to head in the man, Mike Evans. I know he's old, but you cannot forget that this man went crazy last year. In the 15th game, he went off for 36.9 fantasy points. My whole fantasy was not doing shit, but this man came and saved the day. And that wasn't the only game he went off. He was pretty consistent. But, he will be sharing some touches with Palmer and Godwin, but they're not putting up anywhere near the numbers the GOAT, the future Hall of Famer is. Nah, they can't touch that man. He went off for 240.4 overall fantasy points last year. He's projected to do 237. Do not underestimate this man. He's got, Baker Mayfield as his quarterback too. And we talked about how Baker went crazy. You can't count this man out. Definitely check for him. See if he's out there. Because, if he does anything like he did last year, he's going to do numbers for you. Who is your number 9, babe?
My number 9 is an exact follow-up to yours. Or rather, yeah, exactly right. Mike Evans, Mr. Overliable himself. Listen, man, at this point with Mike Evans, I'm at it where until he stops doing it, he's going to continue to do it. You said earlier, consistency. This is Mr. Consistency. This is the Iron Man himself of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And babe, when people say Jerry Rice, they think about the 49ers and vice versa when it comes to receivers. Mike Evans is going to be just that for Tampa Bay. As you said, future Hall of Famer. Absolutely worthy of a early second rounder, mid-second round pick, hands down. Again, put up numbers last year, 17 average per game. I said it earlier, until he stops doing it, he's going to continue to do it. So absolutely consider him in your fantasy football needs. Take it away, babe.
All right. Last but not least, my number 10 is going to be Devontae Adams. Miss Hangover, bringing you choices. Choices that went off for 241.3 fantasy points last year. He's projected to do 257. He went off for 1,063 yards, 8 touchdowns, in only 14 games. He has no Cooper Kupp this year to compete with because Cooper's over at Seattle. He will share those touches with Puka Nacua. But again, he will be consistent if, Nacua isn't available. So keep him, check him out, see if he's available. He will be consistent for you. And if Puka gets injured, he's going to take all those touches. Who is your last but not least, my love?
Mine's should be a familiar face for you, even though he's going to have a new jersey on this year. And that is DK Metcalf. Now I get it. A lot of people might say, well, he didn't put up a lot of numbers last year, Ghost Dog. Only 192. That equals out to about 12 per. However, DK Metcalf is like an AJ Brown type player. If he's in a system where it's consistent, he's going to be that consistent receiver for you. So he's in a new home. He's got a future Hall of Famer throwing him the ball. Are there doubts as far as where the consistency for said future Hall of Famer might be? I have some. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan for multiple reasons. We're not going to get into all that. However, I will not deny that man's talent. And with a talented receiver like a DK Metcalf, I expect things to happen. So this 191 for the season, 12 per, game average, I expect that to be significantly higher this year. And DK Metcalf is absolutely worthy of a low-tier top 10 receiver pick for your football fantasy needs. Anywhere maybe like a mid-second round to late second round type of situation. Absolutely. Keep DK Metcalf in your considerations. And with that being the case, we're going to move on to our honorable mentions and sleepers. But before all that, here's a word from our sponsors.
All right, so taking it away with our sleepers and honorable mentions. My honorable mention is going to go to Darnell Mooney. Now, yet again, Miss Hangover bringing you with options. I can't say this enough. You need options. We can't all get those top number one players all the time. It would be great if we could, but that's just not the case when it comes to fantasy. He's got his quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. over there. Last year, he went off for 193.2 overall fantasy points. He's projected to do 170.7, but I do think he will do more. The fifth game of 2024, he went off for 31.5 points. That was crazy. I remember everybody in my fantasy being totally shocked that this man that nobody really knew about went off for crazy, and I definitely won that week. The 14th game, he went off for 20. He stayed pretty consistent and reliable on the fantasy platforms. He did do 992 yards with 5 touchdowns. With that being said, I do want to mention that he is injured. He did get injured at training camp. He's expected to miss a few weeks, but keep him on your radar. Ray McLeod will take over for him and stand in for him if Mooney does miss any times. But if Mooney is available, which I anticipate he will be a good person to have for your flex and or somebody to keep in your back pocket because he will put up those numbers. My sleeper is going to be Xavier Worthy. He's got his quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, over there. He went off for 187.2 fantasy points. He is projected to do a whopping 239.5. Yes, you heard me right. 239.5. Why? That's because Rashee Rice, he has a possible suspension. He missed out on so much time last year that he might not even be there. Travis Kelce, as we know, you saw him play last year. He's aging. He's not doing well. He's not the one man that he used to be. It's the perfect breakout season for Xavier. Where, remind you, projected 239.5. Grab this man. He's a sleeper. Who is yours? Your honorable mention and your sleeper, my love.
Thank you. My honorable mention is Ladd McConkey. Now, I thought about putting him in my top 10. Major consideration even for the honorable. However, I want to put him, or rather, as I said, I had to put him in the honorable off the strength of the Los Angeles Chargers added some pieces in the draft, and a Trey Harris, a Keandre Lambert-Smith. Quentin Johnson is still over there. He's trying to salvage whatever he can from his situation. So even though I expect Ladd McConkey to take that next step and to, if not do similar, possibly more than what he did last year, it's just with the situations going on with the young talent there on top of the talent that's already there, it could be a hit or miss type of situation with Ladd McConkey. However, he is absolutely worthy of an honorable mention. Maybe like a third round, fourth round type of situation. Absolutely snack him up. The sleeper, however, now I had to sit on this for a while. No nonsense. And I just kept coming back to Keon Coleman. Now last year he didn't do a lot. Ghost Dog, you crazy. Only 111 points for the whole season. Bugging, only 8 points average per game, only 4 touchdowns. Nonsense, I say. There is something about this kid, man. Play on the field just translates absolutely. He wants to play. He loves the game. I feel like there's a little bit of a connection going on with Josh Allen over there. And I get it. He's got Shakir over there. A couple other names, Palmer, if I'm not mistaken. However, in every wide receiver room, there always needs to be a top dog, an alpha that emerges. And I just think that Keon Coleman is that dude, man. Give it some time. I think this might be the year that he's going to make some noise. No nonsense. So as a sleeper, I absolutely had to have him up there, man. And that young man, he's going to do things. He's going to do things here in the league, especially for the Bills. So pay attention, Aboriginal Sports faithful. And with that being the case, Absolutely. These are our top 10 picks, our honorable mentions, as well as sleepers. And I gotta say, babe, this is two dope lists. I think if anybody can snag up at least two of these names out of each of these lists and they can have them on their fantasy football teams, they got good chances, is all I can say. What you think, babe?
I 100% agree. I'm biased. So, like I said, I like my options. I like my consistency. Let's see what the, fantasy season brings us. Um, you know, comment below. Do you have any of these guys on your fantasies? Have you, got into your fantasy drafts yet? Let us know below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And if you have not already, please go watch our quarterback video from last week. We are here hopefully every Saturday going forward for the season. Next video will be about running backs. You should keep that.
Absolutely, babe. Absolutely. And, as my lovely lady Miss Hangover said, hit that like, hit that subscribe, especially if you feel the vibe. Leave a comment. Be like, hey, Miss Hangover or Ghost Dog, y'all bugging. Y'all list is whack. We all right. We'll have the back and forth. We good. We can take the heat. However, that being the case, pay attention, man, because these names up here, they're going to do things. And keep an eye out for our running backs video. Keep an eye out for our tight ends video, as well as our defenses / kickers. However, we've gone on long enough. It's getting late over here where we at. That being the case, make sure you hit the like again. Make sure you leave a comment. And we officially wrapping it up here for the wide receivers. So, babe, how about you hit them with the trademark poem one good time before we close it out here?
Welcome to Fantasy Foreplay, the start of the show. Where your draft begins and your knowledge will grow. His picks and her flex, we got you back for show. From quarterback to sleeper, that's where we explode. All love, no lust, we the ones you can trust. Lock in your options, you know it's a must. With this week's fantasy, we'll help you adjust. Boom, up a bus, let's get ready to rush. Draft it right, don't miss the call. In the game, we got